suppliers to Costco. And what has happened is quite honestly, they've gone from, they're known to be incredibly hard on factories, and they can use anywhere, and Paul and Ben have both worked with them in the past, so they can attest to this, but they have anywhere between 20 to 30 to 40 different factories at any given time that they work with, and they can work with them. They're notorious is leveraging one item, it's all about price of those guys. And what's happened over an accumulation of 5 or 6 years, they've had anywhere between 5 to 7 recalls, and where they've had manufacturing defects, they've had quality issues, and that's what I was just saying. I mean, as soon as you can build that product up, and they were doing close in a total of Costco. They were doing about $900 million just Whalen themselves at Costco. $900 million, put it in perspective. And they'll do about $100 million this year with Costco, maybe a little less than that. So in about a 5 to 6 period of time, from 900 to about 100 million, because they've lost their focus. Horrible, quality issues, and it went down like that. And so, and just recently, as you guys may not know, this week we're in the middle of Costco's, every 6 months they have what they call a style out, where we bring in all of our new items that we've been developing and working with the sampling, and put in one big room with all the different buyers and divisions of Costco. And Costco goes through as a team, and they select what items they like and which items they want to move forward with on a test perspective. Those test items then become a potential rollout. Well, this was as of a day or so ago. Whalen's not showing up with that next style. So Whalen's got a lot of issues, and it's done. Started shipping late and having quality issues, and then their business is in big trouble there. So that's those guys. Our partners in Integra. I mean, James, you know who they are. Asia. We were, as I mentioned, we did close to $50 million with those guys not that long ago. And sure enough, we started slowly but surely getting significant price increases, significant. And what I was saying by that, we were seeing 20, 30, 40% price increases. And so, we lost our competitive advantage, that's number one. But number two, we started having some serious delays. And it got to the point where almost every item that we shipped them, even if it was a small test item, we were starting to get delays on. And the big one we called the nail in the coffin was we had a manufacturing defect. And that was at that point, that was kind of the deciding factor. Was the last struggle. And so that killed the business. And so, we've been trying to work to reestablish that. But unfortunately, with Costco, they're very quick to forget about you and move on. So it's a long process to get back in their grace. But speaking on behalf of those test items, if I may, really quick, these test items are lifeblood about planting seeds about future business. And yes, the orders are small. In some cases, it could be 2 to 4 to 6 containers on a test item. But Costco they don't look at just the rate of sale during that point. They look to make sure that the product ships on time, that it gets there in the right condition, that the packaging is sustainable, it can not get damaged in transit. Then the product looks good on the floor, and then the sell-through. And those are all key components that they gauge whether an item is successful or not. It's not just the sellability of the item. So shipping on time, shipping to the quality level, all of those things are equal contributors that will come in play to determine whether or not that item gets to be bought or not. So when you start having late shipments on test items or any of those things, people think, oh, it's only a couple containers, just have them ship a week or 2 weeks late. No, I mean, that to them, that's a significant failure in their eye. So if we would ship 2 or 4 containers late, just imagine what we do on a 10,000 or 20 or 30,000 piece item, it would ship late as well. So we've seen.
Additionally, Drew, can I jump in here and remind everybody that we are on the hook for 100% markdowns for test items as well. So if they ship late and they miss their ship window, the markdowns can be severe because they're twice as high as the normal markdowns.
Okay, sorry. So, I think the importance of us to be always at that level of service level with regards to pricing, quality, and delivery is very important. I think not only for Costco but for all our other customers. And over the past couple of years, I think our factory has nicely positioned ourselves that we are able to do that. That's the reason why we are seeing a lot of confidence with a lot of our customers, not only Costco, coming our way, which makes life easier for sales and marketing because it is, the factory is rolling and doing along nicely. More customers will see you and more items will come to you. But having said that, I think there are a little bit of internal issues that we need to square off. I think we can start looking into some of the SKU, and from the SKU we can pull out and then explain to everybody moving forward what should be done. Maybe Keng or Feng, you want to go through the process of recently what happened to the extension table and the fixed top table. That's one. And secondly is the bedroom item that is coming our way. What are the challenges that we are facing? Especially we have a fixed delivery date and a lot of things is still not done. So can you start off because Drew and Ben and Paul, yesterday we have a production meeting and we went through this detailed SKU. But then from there we can learn from it and then to see what we can do on the scheduling and planning a bit tighter. So can go ahead. You were talking about, what were you talking about yesterday?
For the new item, when get the order for factory, it is better for our factory when all information is confirmed before get the order for factory. But sometimes some product now get the order for factory, but still ding dong information need to correct here and there, need to update get here and there, and resampling approve again. It a bit more time for R&D to rush out the sample. After that, CAD update or something, discussion here and there, and it is long time and take time in moderation. But requirement shipment date is fixed already, so that means R&D need to redo the sample. We losing time.
So the main thing is when like Ben, when the extension table was shipped to you and then the order was placed in the fixed top. Yeah, I think also on our part that we are not prompt enough to provide photo pictures of the fixed top table for you to approve and then updating of the CAD. But issues like this internally, when we send something and they order it in another form, but then they already ordered and put in the order, it's a bit tricky in a way that we need to really get things going. So if that's the case, whether a few things. Number one is can we buy a bit more time with regards to the delivery date, or number two is we wait till the finalization of the item, and then that's where Costco nailed down the delivery date. This is one. Second one is the bedroom. I think bedroom is due to ship in February, right?
Yeah. In early March.
Early March, yeah. So we planned for February, but then the thing is the pricing, the draw lights and everything is not confirmed. So this is very concerning because it takes a lot of time for us, the fabric for the headboard, and also the wood and all. So what we have done is, particularly this instance, is we work backwards. That means in end February shipment, when do we need everything to confirm? it seems like it's drawing too close, that we may not be able to achieve end February. The question is whether we are able. The worst case scenario is to request customer to shift forward to March, or end of March. But internally, whether how quick we can turn things around so that our guys can start ordering the materials.
Ernie, I just want to point out that the
the-
fabric for shipment before Chinese New Year, they are already requesting orders to be
by
placed.
this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, by this week. So a lot of internal issues. So the Ben and Drew, we have to highlight that when things are confirmed internally, because of our subcontracting and because of some of the big volume for Costco the subcontracting, they need the MCS, the master control sample, the components sample and all, and then send out to my subcon, and my subcon then will prepare the material to make the item. That one usually takes slightly longer time than if we were to do it in-house. Secondly, is a lot of our hardware and all, because of the volume, we are able to more efficiently source from anywhere in the region rather than in Vietnam. So what Shuli was saying, particularly like this fabric for the bedroom, that now by this week, if we don't put in the order in the factory in China, everything will be shipped after the Chinese New Year, which is very, very difficult if you were to nail it down for the shipment to be in beginning March, because Chinese New Year, when you come back from Chinese New Year, it will be beginning March already. 10 days of it. So this particular bedroom series is cutting very, very tight, and I have attended. I was thinking of whether we can push it for a later delivery, but for the fixed top table, is internally. I think there are some deadline issues that we keep missing with regards to getting the samples out and all. So I think, Ben, you have already gotten the photo sample, the photo confirmation.
I reviewed it.
So are we able to go ahead with the fixed top component purchase?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the three things that I need for you guys to be able to move forward with your final production samples are approved engineering, approved packaging information, whether that's a packaging diagram or a PM, or just sometimes I'll approve an M3. And then the third one is I need to see pictures of the samples that you're making before we.
But this one is already done, right? This particular one is done.
Yep. Yeah. The 469 fixed top is completely ready to go from my side.
Okay, so the production team, this one is ready to go, and then the next thing is we need to bring up the timeline of internally to meet the shipment date. And for the bedroom, Drew and Ben, are we able to request for a slightly later delivery date? Since it's
well, we've already moved it back a month. And the reason why we moved it back a month was because the buyer wanted to see the original samples first. To be perfectly honest, Ernie, what happened is that we received the samples. The samples took a very long time to get here.
Yeah.
We received the samples and we scheduled a meeting with the buyer. That is standard operating procedure here. That's like a development meeting. We got a number of changes from the buyer in that meeting, and then the next day I sent a very, very detailed email with outlining every single one of the outcomes from the meeting with the buyer, and I gave very specific information about what can move forward and what can't move forward, and what I need to be able to answer the questions the buyer posed. Number one, the fabric is ready. We can order that. I gave the approval to order the fabric in that email the day after we met with the buyer. Okay. Number two, the two big changes that the buyer requested were they wanted to eliminate the finger joints in the long pieces of rubber wood, and that took a little while to do when we were going back and forth with the factory on the best ways of doing that. Our outcome was to use plywood and veneer over the plywood. And as far as I can tell, all of the changes for that particular one are completely approved. So everything can move forward for the external portions of the samples. The only question that we have right now that is still outstanding for that buy is that we don't know if the buyer wants to change to undermount glides. Obviously, there are things on the interior of the case goods that need to be updated if we change to undermount glides versus side mount glides. I am still, I sent that email back about a week and a half ago, something like that, and I'm still waiting for the updated final approval for the CAD, and I'm still waiting for the updated final quotes. So I requested the quotes immediately when I sent out the email a week and a half ago. I requested them again last night. Lucy sent me the quotes. I reviewed the quotes late last night and asked a number of questions because the quotes didn't really make very much sense to me. And I want to make sure that we get the correct pricing before we go to the buyer and give the buyer incorrect pricing, because we're going to have to live with it. And so I'm just waiting for marketing, the revised quotes from the marketing team. As soon as the revised quotes come in, I will review them and create the updated pricing to Costco, sit the buyer and try to get the buyer's answer about whether or not we're changing to undermount glides versus side mount glides. As soon as we hear back from the buyer, we'll let you know immediately. But right now, really the only thing that changes with the case goods for undermount glides versus side mount glides is where we're locating the blocks that actually mount the glides to the side of the case. Everything else is exactly the same. So there's no reason to hold up on the samples, other than, drawer boxes are going to change because you have to have the mounts at the bottom.
I have also managed to get a change on the bed slats, on the broader bed slats plywood style.
So we got the bed slat. That's preliminary approved when Costco visited in September. The buyer approved the deck boards then, and then he gave final approval once he saw the final sample, which was about a week and a half ago.
So we're using broad pieces, not small pieces of slats, right?
Correct. We're using black base coated sheets of MDF.
Sheets of plywood, no, yeah.
But I'm not sure. I need to. Actually, I'm almost positive it's MDF. I can pull up the CAD though, real quick.
No, MDF cannot take the stress.
I think RD made the sample and they already tested it to the Costco protocols.
MDF or plywood?
MDF.
What is it?
Couldn't I make out the sample again with the plywood veneer for the long rail one without finger joint and butt joint?
No, we're talking the slats, the bed.
The best slat is MDF UV finishing.
He's asking about the material.
The best slat is MDF UV.
MDF, huh?
Yeah, and passed by on the Costco protocol, it passed already. The Costco protocol is just a lot test only. Have not the impact and have not another same with other buyer. Just a lot test only.
No impact test. Can you do the impact test? Can you add on the test, not the Costco test?
But the Costco protocol is don't requirement.
No, I know. I'm going out of the scope because I'm afraid that if there is an issue, even if the specification is approved and the test is approved, we pass all tests, and there is an issue, then it's still our problem.
I'm sure with you when we impact 100% it fail.
But you do an impact.
Yes, without do impact, I'm sure with you 100% fail.
Okay. Huh?
Impact it will be 100% fail.
If it's, yeah.
Cannot lay.
Because the support is now is plywood 18 and the MDF board is MDF 9mm.
You don't have a failure on impact because all the other customer uses impact test as one of the criteria. And if Costco don't do the impact test, we have to do it. And if it fails, we cannot allow this to go. Because there will be impact. Especially American big size, two of them make love, the thing impact go through, that's it.
Well, there are impact tests and Costco protocols, and I will say that the Costco mattress platform is pretty tried and true. As in, all of our other competitors are using 9mm MDF with almost exactly the same base as we are. Actually, we're going above and beyond because we're using a beach rail underneath it, and the beach center rail with the 3 supporting feet underneath there is very strong. So I'm not terribly worried. I'm absolutely certain it will pass the testing that is required, and this is what every single other vendor is doing in Costco right now.
You do an impact test. That's what James said, and see how bad it failed or how well it passed. Because it's not just the MDF. There is a structural improvement at the bottom. So let's do the impact test anyway.
Yeah, because now and they do 2 set of the pad, one sent to US, one for photo setting. I will using the photo setting to do testing in house.
Yeah. So okay, to continue. Ben, we go ahead to order the fabric. We go ahead to take. The only thing that you need is the pricing of the undermount, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So we will go ahead with the assumption that the undermount will continue to go ahead to using the undermount.
I mean, it's risky. I told the buyer in the meeting that undermount will cost me more. I did not have an estimate for him.
So can I do this? Can you, if I give it to you the pricing by today, can you confirm with the buyer by this week?
I mean, what I'll do is I'll make the pricing, I'll email it to them, and then I'll try to get a hold of them via telephone. But their style out is happening right now, so they're basically week of meetings.
Yeah, because it's already at the moment it's already past the factory, and if we were to put in the components to the factory, so that's the reason why we wanted to, not as soon as possible, but by this week, hopefully.
My question is what I would suggest is that we start on the photography samples based on undermount glides, and even if we do make the photography samples and it's not the undermount glides, we can easily modify the photography samples to be side mount glides, right?
But no, the more important is the MCS sample for my subcontractor. Because as you said, the internal is very different.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that we asked for the quotes a week and a half ago, maybe even longer. I'm not exactly sure on the date that they went out, and we're still waiting for the quotes.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get the quotes, we're going to send them to the buyer. As soon as the buyer responds, we will do everything in our power to make sure that the buyer responds immediately.
So Ben, you sometimes things like this, it seems like it's easy, and you question us why is it taking a week and a half? Because when it comes to undermount lights, we will go and look for the most efficient that can pass the test.
Yeah.
We just can't say that let's pick up one that's $6 and quote you $28 for, which is not going to go. Which you jump, everybody will jump. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So what we have done is over the past week, we have been looking at a few vendors to see what are the thing, and then the 12-inch glides is not easy to find because and the 14-inch is a bit more available, but 14 costs more expensive. So we were doing back and forth on all this, going to 2 or 3 vendors. That's the reason why it's not like we're just sitting there and then waiting, and then you are going crazy as why it's not the price to come up. And internally, yeah.
No, I don't mean to interrupt you. But I think that if what you're explaining there makes sense, and totally makes we get it. That makes total sense. I think sometimes when we get in trouble, we can all do this. Is they're like that, and just it goes quiet. If you explain the process and kind of tell us what we're doing, so we're just not thinking it's either ignored or no one's doing anything. I mean, I think to your point, you explain that makes complete sense. We understand that. But if either one of them sends something and it just sits there and for a week and a half, you don't hear anything. I mean, naturally, it's like, did they even get the email? So anyway, we understand the process that you have to do your due diligence and all. We totally get it. I think it just helps us manage, because whether it's on your side or Costco's side, it's all about managing the expectations. And like you said yourself, every week makes a big difference. And so, if we can keep that vendor on the hook and tell them and engage with them and say, hey, it's coming, it's a couple days out, or it's going to be next week, it helps that. So all of a sudden, if you do need an extra 2 or 3 weeks late, they understand that, it's not just because we haven't been doing anything.
So I think Jason and Lucy, I think the communication is going to be a bit more proactive now. I mean, we have to tell Drew and Ben that, hey, we are looking for the raw guys, and then and finally we managed to get it, and then the pricing is as such, because we do not want to price it up that it's not going to happen. So, okay, to learn from these 2, go ahead, Ben.
Ernie, can I say one thing? Actually, 2 things. Number 1 is when I write an email, oftentimes I ask multiple questions in the email. I don't always explain why I'm asking the questions, because things get very complicated, very detailed. But it is critical that marketing answers all of the questions or addresses all of the questions in the emails. So many times they'll write an email back and they'll answer maybe 2 of 4 questions. And then we lose a day because I have to come back to them and say, you didn't answer these 2 questions. I need the answers to these. They affect what we're going to do based on this, X, Y, and Z. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, just like with you guys, I try to make sure that you guys don't get surprised by something. And so the thing is if there's a surprise in one of the quotes, please send an explanation for why this might not make sense. Because I hope you guys know by now that we go through the quotes very, very, very detailed. And we go through very detailed. So we're going to be stuck with the change in the cost and whether or not it makes sense over the course of 2 different versions. So the question that I had last night was about the nightstand quote. So the dresser quote, which has 7 drawers, 7 sets of glides, the quote went up $13. And the nightstand, which only has 1 set of glides, the quote went up $4. And so the question obviously is, how come the nightstand glides appear to be more expensive than the dresser glides? And I can't send the quote to the buyer unless I get an answer to that question. Because if I send the quote to the buyer, it's going to be very difficult to take it back, or it's going to be very.
There is more to the nightstand than the glides. But anyway, you're getting this morning. There are more to the nightstand than the glides. Yeah. So
and there always is, but the point is that for me to do my job, for us to do our job on the site, we have to understand what's going on, right?
So
if that's the cost, then that's okay. I will absolutely send the buyer the costs no matter what. But the point is that I'm just doing my due diligence to make sure that it is the correct cost.
So take these 2 examples as what we have done, and how can we improve it, and how can we it's on our side that we're not communicating, and a lot of times there's the reason behind that. A lot of times also the R&D side, it comes to presentation sample, we rush it out. Then when it comes to the orders and the photo samples and the MCS samples for SARCON, because we're pending waiting for certain things because the orders are in, we're making sure everything is being squared out. That it takes time, and as a result, the factory production is not